I now call the January 2nd, 2024 Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:45. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the claims.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for claims to be paid of $237,242.14 and manual checks in the amount of $94,724.99. Payroll and liabilities for December 29th in the amount of $270,008.88. And that total is $976,001.
I would second.
Thank you. All in favor, or I'm sorry, are there any amendments or discussion on the claims?
I have none, Your Honor.
Councilman Bailey?
No.
No? All right, in that case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Is there anything additional that the committee needs to review or to discuss? Thank you. All right. In that case, we'll call this meeting adjourned at 6:46.
All right, I called the January 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Councilmember Borders, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And we had Councilmember Peranto for the invocation, but he's not in the country currently, so I'll give the invocation after that. You could all stand and remove any hats.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here together in the new year. We're grateful for the opportunity to participate in and be able to serve others in the many opportunities that we have to do so. We're grateful for those who serve the community in many ways, especially our City of Riverton employees who serve in the different departments throughout the city and do things that help make our lives possible and comfortable and that help keep us safe. We're very grateful for our first responders who serve throughout the community and in different capacities. Ask that it bless them with safety and bless them with knowledge and strength and greater ability than they currently have. We ask that as we discuss the needs of the city tonight, that we can have thy spirit with us, that we can make decisions that will bless our community and help improve it and make it better. And we're grateful for the many people out there that have done things that are trying to benefit our community, and ask that it please bless that as folks continue to try to go the extra mile, that they'll be blessed with the ability to do so. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Administrative Services Director, if you could please conduct the roll call.
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilwoman Lindsay Cox.
Here.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Here.
Councilman Dean Peranto.
Absent.
Councilman Kyle Larson.
Here.
Councilwoman Christy Salisbury.
Absent.
And Mayor Tim Hancock.
I am here. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Councilman Peranto and Councilwoman Salisbury from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilman Bailey. Any discussion or amendments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. I declare we do have a quorum. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any discussion, additions, amendments? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Retirement recognition. Mr. Butterfield, your report, please.
Your Honor, Counsel, I've been dreading this day since 2014. And I bawled like a baby when we recognized him at the Airport Coalition, and I'm doing it again tonight. So I apologize for that, but we're here tonight to recognize Paul Griffin for 28 years of service to the city of Riverton, and specifically to what was Riverton Regional Airport and what is now Central Wyoming Regional Airport. When I joined the city, I had the opportunity to work directly with Paul, and very quickly, I realized not only was Paul a valuable asset to the city of Riverton and to the community, but it was for me as well. I came to the city without any experience working in airports, and Paul could have been very challenging and said, hey, you don't know anything, let me do my thing. But instead, he brought me in, he worked alongside me, and even though I was his supervisor, he treated me as a friend. And these many years later, I'm really happy to announce his retirement, but this is a hard one for me because Paul has meant so much for me, or so much to me through the years. Now, I think it's appropriate that we also say thanks to his mom tonight for a lot of reasons. But rumor has it when the job opportunity came up, back when Paul Throckmorton was working in the Public Works Department, he was looking for someone to help provide operations at the airport. Job description included someone that could operate a grader, could operate streets equipment, and Paul nearly avoided the opportunity to be with us and apply. But thanks to his mother, she said, you know about airports, you're a pilot, doggone it, get your application in. And I'm so thankful he did. So the airport's seen a lot of growth and change in the years that Paul's been here. He's worked with several airlines. In 2014, specifically, he was critical in making sure that we changed the trajectory of Riverton Regional Airport. And as of a report that we received today, we had over 15,000 people flying out of our airport. And that's the fourth highest year that we've had since 2002, so over 20 years. So Paul, without further ado, thank you so much for what you've done with the city of Riverton.
Thank you.
Oh, there it goes.
You had a speech prepared, Paul?
No. For sure? Yeah. Just real quick, I just appreciate working with the city for 28 years. I look up here and I've worked for every mayor on this side, some of them multiple times, so it's been a good journey. I appreciate it, the friendships I've made. Thank you.
Thank you. I will say that some of what we have discussed and have talked about is that we've had communities that have lost air service over the years that you've been working here. And through your hard work and your efforts, and I think through a lot of efforts of, like you said, the mayors on the wall, the city council, the support of citizens, people using the airport, we've been able to have a banner year, and that's really thanks in a good part to you. So really appreciate your hard work, and we're looking forward to having you still around and assisting us, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to do reports and comments now, council committee reports and council members roundtable. For folks that haven't been to a meeting for a while, we've actually moved this to the beginning of the meeting, mainly because I think people didn't know what different council members were up to, what things were going on in the city. So bear with us, I guess. Since you're alone over here, Kyle, how about we start with you? Is that all right?
Well, even my friends won't tell you what the problem is. But I did shower and shave tonight.
Good, thank you. I'm the one that's sitting closest to you, so.
I know it, fortunately. The only news I have is I was reappointed to Solid Waste Board for 4 years on the first of the year. And the importance of that is that the city of Riverton is by itself funding solid waste. And I think that we need to watch that closely. And I don't know about anybody else, but I like to make sure that my dollars work extra hard, whether it's on building streets or filling holes with garbage. But that's my job there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Borders, you all right going next?
Sure. Your Honor, I don't have anything to report. I haven't had any meetings since the beginning of December, so we'll start meeting again next week.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Councilwoman Cox?
I haven't had any meetings since December either, but I would like to report that the rec board will be meeting on January 15th. And that's the big meeting where we take applications for funding, for grant funding. If you would like to apply, that application is actually on the Fremont 25 district website under rec board. And that meeting will be at the central office at 6 o'clock. EDGE will be meeting on the 18th at 6 o'clock here. And if you guys want to ever attend a meeting, that's a really fun one to go to, especially since they'll be presenting applications for this session. And it's really fun to hear the new ideas that are coming to our town. So if you don't have anything to do on a Thursday, that would be something to pencil in. Something else I'm really excited to report that is not one of my city responsibilities, but more as a job as a mom. I'm the Legion baseball president, and we have been working with city staff to open the ice skating rink at the Legion field this year. And staff let me know today that we will be starting that tomorrow and filling it on Thursday. So we will be up and running soon, weather permitting, and we'll have more details on our Legion baseball page and with the rec. That's all I've got.
Thank you, appreciate it. That's great news. Mr. Bailey?
Thank you. Again, I didn't have any meetings over the last few weeks either, but enjoyed a nice Christmas and New Year, and so Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everybody. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Butterfield?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few things to make note of. First, pursuant to state statute, I do need to declare that I have received financial disclosures from each member of the council, the mayor, Ms. Mia Harris, who serves as our city treasurer, and also I submitted one as well. That's something that we have to declare, we have to receive each year, and we keep that on file. That's important just for those that are elected to disclose the financial entities that you do business with, and also it's in relationship to the financial entities in which the city does business. So I have received those and declare that we can file those statements pursuant to statute. To kind of go along with some of the things that have already been said, we will have a planning commission meeting this Thursday at 5:30. That is, again, open to the public, and we invite folks to attend. There will be a Fix Our Roads Citizen Committee next Monday, that's the 8th, at 11 a.m. here at City Hall, and they meet at the bullpen area. That is open for the public to attend as well, and is an important committee to discuss the priorities for road projects moving forward. And Mr. Eggleston and his committee do a lot of work on that. And just a point of clarification, the EDGE meeting will actually be next Thursday instead of this Thursday. We had to move it. We had a bit of a change, so it will be Thursday the 11th at 6 o'clock. And again, would definitely welcome the public to be there, especially as those who have submitted applications will be giving their proposals. And it's a great opportunity for the community to see how those funds may or may not be used. A special thanks to our recreation and Councilwoman Cox for kind of coming together and working on a solution for the ice skating rink. I know a lot of community members were disappointed when it wasn't possible to do it at Tonkin Stadium due to construction. But thanks to the example we have from Councilwoman Cox and others in the community that just want to solve problems and get things done, we have a new location and look forward to getting that in place. Your Honor, I don't have anything else to report at this time outside of saying Happy New Year, and we're glad to have so many people in the audience today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I sure appreciate everybody had a New Year's resolution to come to more city council meetings, so glad to see you here. You know, over the Christmas and New Year's holidays, we don't tend to have as many meetings. I think that's purposeful. People want to be spending time with family, friends, that kind of thing. And so I didn't have as many as I attended as well. I will say that I did have a good opportunity to visit the high school. You're familiar with that place, right? Yeah. Had a good opportunity to visit the high school and helped judge the government class. They were learning how to run a Congress, kind of like they might do for debate, that sort of thing, and it was really enjoyable. And I'll tell you, we have a lot of good youth in our community who are involved, who are trying to learn, who are trying to improve, and I have a lot of faith that they're going to leave things better than when they eventually start being the ones that are up here talking and that kind of thing. So we've got some good youth here in our community, and I sure appreciate them. I would also agree that the work from Councilwoman Cox and our rec to get ice skating going, that's great. There was a lot of people that were on Facebook or elsewhere that were like, hey, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out a location that's flat that you can put an ice skating rink. And rather than just sitting there and complaining and saying, hey, we should do this, I appreciate the Legion folks and our rec taking the bull by the horns and doing that. So thank you very much for that hard work. But that is all I have to report. I sure hope everyone had an enjoyable holiday season. It's always good to be able to visit with family and that sort of thing, and look forward to this next year. If you did make a resolution to come to more city council meetings, this one's going to be a little bit different than most because we have all the things that we do yearly that we take care of in the first meeting of the year. So we have appointments, that kind of thing. So I'm sure you're really happy and excited to be here and listen to all that. But even if you're not, that's what we have on the agenda today. So, all right, moving on. Communication from the floor. Citizens' comments. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak about an item that is already scheduled for a public hearing, you will certainly be given an opportunity to speak during that hearing. However, if you want to speak about something that is on the agenda, not scheduled for a public hearing, feel free, if we get to that item, let us know you want to speak. You can stand up. We'll recognize you, give you an opportunity to briefly speak on it. If you want to speak about something that's not already on the agenda, I'd ask you to please come up and tell us your name. If you're with an organization, tell us the organization you're with. If you're with an organization, I'd ask you to keep your comments to 10 minutes, split them between the different members of your organization. If you're an individual, I'd ask you to keep your comments to 5 minutes. But if you'd like to come up and tell us your name and tell us what you'd like to speak about, the time is yours to do that. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak? Yes, come on up.
I'm Wayne Dick, for those that don't know me. And what reason I'm here is exactly what Mr. Larson had commented on about making his dollars work hard. The other day, I run into a problem with the city that I felt our dollars are not being worked very well. We are very fortunate this year not to have the snow we had last year so far, but they were still cleaning streets. And there was a piece of equipment out there, the snow blower, which is capable of loading 20 to 30 loads per hour. And it was putting out 4 loads per hour due to lack of other equipment. They didn't have trucks enough to, so that unit was sitting there approximately 12 to 13 minutes out of every 15. It was loading a truck once every 15 minutes and sitting there the rest of the time. To me, that wastes money, makes for a long day for your operators. Most of your people are good workers. They want to work, but when they're forced to sit there because you people don't give them the equipment to work with, to me, it's just not good management of the money. And I know there's a certain amount of money for snow removal that's budgeted. Well, every time that stuff's sitting there, you're wasting that money. And I don't know who's responsible to see that that gets going, but the ultimate responsibility, I feel, falls back to the mayor and the council to make sure that the city is run as efficiently as possible. And it bothered me enough, I decided I had to come up and speak about it today. So I would ask you to please look into it and try to get the snow removal that perhaps we're going to need yet working a little more efficiently so that your money is spent good and your equipment's used proper. And I'm sure quite a few of you have worked a business. I know some of you are business owners, and you know what it takes to actually make things work properly. So I'm just asking you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dick. Anybody else? Well, I'm going to assume everybody else is talking about items that are on the agenda then. That's great. All right. Administrative Services Director, could you please read the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, December 19th, 2023, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, December 19th, 2023, executive session. Approval of the minutes, January 2nd, 2024, Finance Committee meeting. And approval of the Finance Committee recommendations, January 2nd, 2024.
Thank you. Are there any other items requiring further discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. The
Yes, ma'am.
Finance Committee met earlier this evening and agreed to consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $237,242.14, manual checks in the amount of $94,724.99, payroll and liabilities for 12/19/23 in the amount of $270,008.88, for a total of $601,976.01.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Cox with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion or amendments? Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'll abstain from any Bailey Enterprises line items on the Finance Committee report.
Okay. Anything else? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Leadership ballots, Council President and Vice President. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you mentioned, this meeting does handle a few of the standing items for the new calendar year. One of those is your opportunity as a council to select your council president and council vice president. The council president presides in the absence of the mayor, and the vice president presides in the absence of the council president. We do have ballots ready for you to vote. We'll handle the council president ballot first, so please just select one member of the body to serve as the council president.
You coming back up?
Ready?
Pick them up?
Gonna pick them up?
It's pretty easy. We just need a circle.
Need to write it out.
That's right.
Your Honor, Captain Romero and I will step out and we'll tally those and announce.
What type of voting machines do you have? Well, you know, it came back, you.
Yeah, there's a problem.
Oh, man. Mayor Vincent.
Your Honor, in a 4-1 vote, Councilman Bailey was reelected as council president.
Thank you.
We'll now distribute the vice president vote.
There's people out in the hall. Tell them that there's seats up here at the front.
If there's folks that are sitting out in the hall, we have a couple of chairs still in here if you want to come and sit. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Larson.
I don't remember.
Mr. Butterfield.
Your Honor, we do have a tie.
Oh, great.
Councilwoman Borders and Councilman Dean Peranto received 2 votes each, and there was another member that received 1. So we'll need to do another ballot. And if this time you would just restrict your voting to Councilman Peranto and Councilwoman Borders.
That's right. No hanging chads.
Oh, Lord.
That's a blast from the past.
Yes, it is. Nicole?
Man, wasn't that ridiculous?
Seems pretty petty compared to what's going on now.
Yeah.
Your Honor, in a 4-1 vote, Councilwoman Borders has been selected as the council vice president.
All right, well, thank you.
Yay.
Okay, well, thank you, and good to have you back, Mr. Bailey, and good to have you now as the new vice president.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Borders. Yes, we can hear you.
Who was that?
Council committee appointments, city administrators report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The mayor has the opportunity to appoint council members to serve as liaisons to boards and committees associated with the city of Riverton. Council members are welcome to attend any other board or committee meeting that they are not specifically the liaison to. However, it should be noted that if 4 or more council members are in attendance at one particular meeting, it would constitute a quorum of the city council. Mayor Hancock has proposed the following for appointments to boards and committees. Mayor Hancock to serve as the liaison to the Fremont County Association of Governments and to the County Commission, and also the Evolve, Diversify, and Grow Our Economy Committees, or the EDGE Committee. Councilman Bailey with assignments to the Wind River Visitor Council, the Fix Our Road Citizen Committee, and the Riverton Chamber of Commerce, or the Y Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center. Councilman Larson to the Finance Committee, the Fremont County Solid Waste Disposal District, and the Downtowners. Councilman Peranto to the Airport Board, Fremont County School District 25 Recreation Board. Councilwoman Cox also to the Recreation Board with the School District, and also the EDGE Committee. Councilwoman Salisbury as a tribal liaison and also to the Finance Committee. And then Councilwoman Borders to pause the Finance Committee and the Senior Center Endowment Board. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the committee assignments proposed by the mayor.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion or amendments? Everybody all right with their appointments? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Citizen Board appointments. Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. Currently, the City of Riverton has 8 committees that are made up of community members. These include the Airport Board, Construction Board of Appeals, the EDGE Committee, FAST Committee, Force Planning Commission, Rendezvous Balloon Committee, and the Tree Board. City staff has advertised vacancies and solicited interest from community members to either fill vacancies or fill spots if terms were ending on any of these boards or committees. In your packet is a table of the boards that had vacancies or expiring terms, and it also lists those that the mayor is proposing for appointment. I'll briefly run through those. The Airport Board did have members with expiring terms, and each of the members submitted letters of interest to be reappointed. That included Kim Lee, Bob Labita, Jim Gores, and we also received interest from a pretty special guy to serve as an alternate, Mr. Paul Griffin, and the mayor's recommending his appointment as an alternate to the board. The Construction Board of Appeals had 3 terms that were ending. That included Mr. Eric Raymond, John Martin, and Don Wilhelm. They each have expressed interest in being reappointed as well. For the Planning Commission, there were 3 terms that expired at the end of 2023. There were 2 individuals that have expressed interest for those 3 positions. Travis Guthrie, who's currently serving on the Planning Commission, and Miss Julie Watts, who's also serving. And the mayor is recommending reappointment of both of those, and staff will continue to advertise the vacancy that was not filled. The Rendezvous Committee expires every year and has to be reappointed every year. Letters of interest were received from Carrie Fike, Patricia Newland, Jerry Bosch, Morgan Miller, Andy Samuelson, Carla Kelly, Michelle Hauser, Sean Bang, and Christopher Hauser-Veach. And the mayor is recommending appointment or reappointment of each of them. Finally, on the tree board, we do have a vacancy from a member that was recently appointed but has relocated. And Miss Holiday Cassidy was appointed as an alternate a few months ago, and it's proposed that she move from being an alternate to being a full-time member of the tree board to fill the vacancy that just recently happened. And that term would actually expire at the end of next year, so she's just filling the balance of the term of the recently vacated position. Thank you, Your Honor, and we'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. And I would note that that was quite a bit of work that was put into this. When we had folks appointed previously, when they would come on, we were keeping track of the terms of when they were appointed, rather than keeping track of it and making sure that we had terms for each seat. And so through some hard work from Mr. Butterfield, as well as, she was here a few minutes ago, Mrs. Hurtado, she had helped and assist in getting those terms figured out, and so really appreciate the work on that, making it so that we can keep track of that a little bit better, Mr. Butterfield, so thank you. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the citizen committee appointments as set out by Mr. Butterfield.
So moved. Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any other discussions or amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right. Consideration of ordinance number 23013, second reading, amending Riverton Municipal Code 17.80.070. Community Development Director's report, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor, Council. Title 17 of the Riverton Municipal Code pertains to zoning regulations for the city of Riverton. The administration and enforcement of these regulations fall under the authority of the Community Development Director, who serves as the city's building official. When violations related to Title 17 are observed, the Community Development Director applies Section 1780.070 of the Riverton Municipal Code unless otherwise stated. Any person, firm, or corporation who violates, disobeys, neglects, or refuses to comply with or resist the enforcement of any of the provisions of this title shall upon conviction be fined in a sum of not less than $10 nor more than $100 for each offense. Each day a violation is permitted to exist after notice has been given by the building official shall constitute a separate offense. When infractions are observed against regulations and other titles of Riverton Municipal Code, they are generally enforced by the police department under the general penalty section of the code, specifically Section 1.20.010. Section A, whenever in any ordinance, resolution, or regulation promulgated by any officer or agency of the municipality under authority vested in him or her by law or ordinance, any act is prohibited or is declared to be unlawful, or an offense or a misdemeanor, or the doing of any act is required, or the failure to do any act is declared to be unlawful, or an offense or a misdemeanor, and no specific penalty is provided therefor, the violation of any such provision of such ordinance, resolution, or regulation shall be punished by a fine of not more than $750. Provided that the imposition of any such fine shall not bar institution of appropriate legal actions or proceedings by the municipality to restrain, correct, or abate the violation, nor shall the institution of such legal actions or proceedings be deemed a bar to the imposition of such fine. Section B, except as otherwise provided, each day any violation of this code or any such ordinance, resolution, or regulation continues shall constitute a separate offense. Proposed ordinance 23-013 modifies the manner by which infractions are enforced related to travel trailers and mobile homes. Specifically, it proposes that violations occurring within the public right-of-way would fall under the aforementioned general penalty section of the Riverton Municipal Code, while private property or land use violations would remain under the authority of the building official. The proposed change is more consistent with how violations within the right-of-way are enforced in other titles of Riverton Municipal Code, specifically towards parking and other regulations of such. As denoted in the proposed language referenced below, Ordinance 23-013 only clarifies which section of code applies when regulations are violated for travel trailers and mobile homes. It does not propose any other changes nor address other clauses of Section 17.80.070. Being second reading, I won't read through the exact language of, the complete language of Riverton Municipal Code 17.80.070, but I will read through just the language changes to Section A and Section B, and only those changes proposed. Violations in the public rights-of-way are subject to and punishable by Section 1.20.010, while private property violations are subject and punishable by Section 17.04.060. And that is the same language that's proposed added to Section B as well. The main reason for this language change is just to clear up, and when we deal with parking regulations or land use regulations in general, when those offenses to Riverton Municipal Code occur in the right-of-way, our police force and police department dictate and work in those right-of-ways. And my jurisdiction normally falls under the private property section of the rule. This is just aligning this code with the rest of the code in certain sections that I preside over. In consideration of proposed ordinance 23-013, the City Council may explore the following alternative actions. Amend Riverton Municipal Code to reflect new language on the issue. Deny the request to change the code and continue to follow current practices and codes as it pertains to travel trailers and mobile homes, and approve the changes with amendments and/or stipulations. There's no budget impact at this time, and I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Administrative Services Director, if you could please read the ordinance by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed ordinance 23-013, an ordinance amending Title 17 zoning to revise Chapter 80 Mobile Home Park District, Section 17.80.070A and 17.080.070B, applicability of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 23-013 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion or amendments? Okay, I guess for anyone listening that was curious what all the numbers were and what that means, just to summarize it quickly, and Mr. Miller, I think, did well at that at the end. The idea is when we have trailers, what's the language that we use in there again, Mr. Miller?
Your Honor, it's mobile homes and travel trailers.
Travel
specific,
trailers.
And it's the occupancy of.
When we have travel trailers or mobile homes, we have it currently set so that would be enforced. Well, actually, it's not even really specific as to who would be enforcing it, but we're making it clear that in a right-of-way, it would be enforced by the police department, but if it's on private property, it'd be enforced by the community development department. So it sounds really complicated, but it's pretty simple. So, all right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Municipal Court Judge, Alternate Judge, and City Attorney appointments. Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. More details included in your packet, but essentially, municipal code states that each year, the mayor and council appoint a judge and an alternate judge, and also a city attorney. Mayor Hancock, you've had the opportunity to speak with Judge McKee and also Mr. Aaron Vincent to serve as judge and alternate judge. You've also had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Rick Sollers to serve as a city attorney. Each of these individuals have served in the position before, and they were appointed for the 2023 year. It's proposed that the mayor and council reappoint Judge Teresa McKee as our municipal judge, Aaron Vincent as the alternate judge, and Rick Sollers as the city's attorney. The budget impact from these appointed positions usually fluctuates between $55,000 a year to $70,000 a year, and that's depending on the use of the city attorney. The hourly rate is set by contract, and that's included in your packet, as well as the compensation for the judge. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the appointment and respective salaries for the municipal judge, alternate judge, and city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any discussion, amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Resolution 1482, designation of official depositories.
Thank you, Your Honor. Also, with all of the other annual things that you're approving this evening, per state statute, municipalities are required to reach out to our local financial institutions to designate official depositories of the city of Riverton. We do request an application from each of the depositories along with a resolution from their board of directors should they be interested in doing business with the city. The following institutions have filed applications with the city: BMO Bank, National Association, Central Bank and Trust, U.S. Bank, National Association, Wells Fargo Bank, and Wyoming Community Bank. You do have the option to appoint one, several, or all of the applications submitted, and I will stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, would the Administrative Services Director please read Resolution 1482 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution number 1482, a resolution designating official depositories for the city of Riverton, Wyoming, requiring joint signatures on all orders for payment of money from city accounts, and designating certain individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city accounts at said banks.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1482, designating official depositories for the account transactions of the city funds.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. I told everybody here this was riveting. Any discussion, amendments? I guess just for the viewing and public here, resolution indicates BMO Bank, Central Bank and Trust, U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, and Wyoming Community Bank would be depositories. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Moving on, designation of legal newspaper. Ms. Harris again.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pursuant to statutory regulations, the City of Riverton is also required to designate a newspaper as the official means of publishing documents, such as meeting minutes, salaries, notices, etc. The Riverton Ranger is the only periodical in the community that has the basic standards required by statute to receive such designation. Therefore, staff recommends the council approve Resolution number 1483, designating the Riverton Ranger as the city's primary means of publication.
Thank you. Could you also then read Resolution 1483 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution number 1483, a resolution designating the official legal newspaper for the City of Riverton for calendar year 2024.
All right. Chair would entertain a motion to approve Resolution number 1483, designating the Riverton Ranger as the city's primary means of publication.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Cox with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Mr. Warpness, would you like to speak?
Yes, please.
You're welcome to. Come on up. If you could tell us your name. I just used it, but
Probably well recognized. My name is Ron Warpness, and Mayor Hancock and council, first of all, Happy New Year, and may the entire staff of the city and have a prosperous and a wonderful coming year. It looks like it's going to be a good one. We don't have the snow problems that we had last year and whatnot. I would also like to note that Mr. Griffin mentioned that the folks on the wall over there he had worked with. Well, I was one of those in 2014, and I remember well how we came very close to losing our airport. And I just wanted to personally thank Paul. Good man. So, and it's congratulations on your retirement. You bet. I also have an issue that I've been mulling around for a while. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the old adage of the canary in the coal mine. I'm sure that most of you are, but for the younger, uninformed audience, I will explain. Years ago, coal miners would take a canary into a coal mine they were working in, not because it was a pet, but by the fact that the canary fell off its perch dead. The miners would know there was poison gas in the mine and to get to safety. The canary is what we would now call an early warning system. At this time, I am acting as a canary in the coal mine, but I'm not going to fall off my perch. On November 7th of last year, I came and expressed a concern that the Riverton Rangers should not be designated as the paper of record for the city of Riverton. I gave my reasons and will not belabor the point at this time. The issue of free speech in the city's designation, however, is still relevant and needs to be addressed. I have two questions, and then I will let the council do its will. Did you discuss and consider the concerns expressed in my letter and the cost that the city taxpayers bear regarding the cost of publishing its legal notices in the Ranger?
I don't think we've done that in a public meeting or anything like that.
Okay. But you did have internal discussions, and so. Mayor or Ms. Harris, I would like to ask what the 2023 budgeted amount was for the publishing of all legal notices last year.
Your Honor, if you can give me one moment, I'll get that information for you.
That would be great. Thank you, Mia.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a precise dollar amount, but just a ballpark figure.
It's taken me a second to connect up here.
Should have some Jeopardy music.
Try to arrange that next time.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be something that we'll have Ms. Harris do, have some music playing for us.
Okay, our advertising, excuse me, I need to put our publishing and printing budget, one moment. Our advertising budget for this current fiscal year, which we normally trend year over year, is $11,000 for advertising costs this year.
Well, it's not as much as I figured it was, but it's still a significant sum. I've talked to an individual that is knowledgeable in this area, and he states there would be significant savings to the city budget by going to electronic digital publishing. He stated that at this time, doing so is a legal but unsettled way of doing business due to its historic and long-held way of doing this business. I encourage you once again to consider making this move and to push back on the rights of the citizens to be able to exercise their free speech without arbitrary infringement by a local paper. Your notice and agenda and packet for this meeting was done in this format. Once again, thank you for considering this matter. Sincerely.
Thank you, Mr. Warpness. I appreciate you coming in and speaking.
And I'm sure that there are many people that say, what the hell is Ron talking about? And that's scary to me,
that our country is founded on free speech. And when you can have a private newspaper that arbitrarily inhibits the free speech of someone that has paid the price that I have paid, that's wrong. And then for the city to give it its imprimatur as the designated, that's what I'm talking about. And what scares me is that people don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. And that's the future that we have, I guess. So,
Thank you.
They don't meet spec.
And I guess, Ms. Harris, in terms of when we publish legal notices, there's requirements under statute for that in terms of a newspaper that has, if there is a newspaper, we have to have one designated. If there's not a newspaper, then there's not really necessarily the alternative that they provide in statute is basically to be doing the notices at the council, at the city hall. Is that correct?
Correct. In smaller cities in the state of Wyoming, they are allowed or required to publish their meeting minutes in certain conspicuous locations throughout their town, whether it be their town hall, their library, their post office, different things like that. Because we are a first-class city, we are required to publish in our official newspaper. We have scaled down on some of the publications, meaning that we don't put our entire agenda in the newspaper anymore. Rather, that we just publish that there is a meeting. This is the date and the time, and official agendas can be found out on our website. But we do have to publish, we are required to publish our meeting minutes and our expenditures through the newspaper.
And that's, I just was looking it up. If it's, has to be published in the newspaper, which has been regularly issued at least once each week for a period of 52 consecutive weeks, has a page circulation of at least 500, and each page is not less than 10 inches by 12 and 1.5 inches in size.
It's restrictive.
Yep.
Your Honor, this has come before the legislature several times, and the only way to change this is to go to the legislature. The statute's pretty clear that it's a legal publication of general circulation, and we do, as a first-class city, have to designate.
Right. All right. Well, just want to have that discussion. All right. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Resolution number 1484, Emergency Operations Plan. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Emergency Operations Plan, or the EOP of the county, addresses the county's responsibility and also its partner entities' responsibility to respond to emergencies associated with natural disasters and human-caused emergencies. The plan provides a framework for coordination of response and recovery of efforts within the county, and it's in conjunction with local, state, and federal agencies. Mylan Vintage, who's now the Emergency Operations Coordinator for the county, has worked with the city on proposing an update to the EOP. This has to be done every 2 years. The last time the City Council adopted the EOP, was 2 years ago. There have been minor updates made to that. This document is exempt from public records requests because it does contain information related to emergency response, deployment of assets, tactical operations in Fremont County. So you as a council, if you want to review the document, you're more than welcome to. But as stated, staff has worked with Mylan Vintage on this update, and the EOP meets the requirements listed in state statute and also federal law. So it is proposed that the council adopt via resolution the new updated Fremont County Municipal Tribal Emergency Operations Plan.
Thank you. Would the city clerk, Administrative Services Director, please read Resolution number 1484 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution number 1484, a resolution adopting the Fremont County Municipal Tribal Emergency Operations Plan for the city of Riverton, Wyoming.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 1484, the Fremont County Municipal Tribal Emergency Operations Plan.
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilman Bailey. Any discussion, amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. All right, Resolution 1485, support for Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Grant Application, Honeycutt Softball Complex Improvements. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor, and if it's okay, I'll defer to Mr. Brian Eggleston on this one.
Oh, thank you, yes.
Your Honor and Council, before you tonight is Resolution 1485. It's a document supporting Riverton Girls Fast Pitch and Riverton Adult Softball League grant application to the Wyoming Office of Outdoor Recreation. This is part of the American Rescue Plan, ARPA funds for recreation, and to help state and local areas recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Their grant application is for updates to the Honeycutt softball complex down on Smith Road. There's lighting issues down there. They need new storage, and they just need to upgrade the facilities as much as they can. They approached the city about supporting their application. Their application does qualify as we're a disproportionately impacted community, which is one of the standards. We also qualify under census tracts and also the Wind River Reservation. This area qualifies for some of this funding. As I said before, the city owns this complex, so as part of the resolution requires that the city show support for their application before they'd even be considered for a grant. It'd be our recommendation to approve the resolution and provide support to this organization or organizations.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Mr. Eggleston. Glad you're doing better.
I don't know what happened to my voice. It was fine a minute ago.
I'm glad you're here. Would the Administrative Services Director please read Resolution 1485 by title only?
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution number 1485, a resolution of the governing body of the City of Riverton supporting the submission of a Wyoming Outdoor Recreation American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA grant, to the Wyoming Office of Outdoor Recreation to improve the Honeycutt Softball Complex in Riverton, Wyoming.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion for, to adopt Resolution 1485 supporting the Riverton Girls Fast Pitch and the Riverton Adult Softball League grant application to the Wyoming Office of Outdoor Recreation.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Doing okay over there?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, contract for service award, alternative to Riverton Senior Center, Inc. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The City of Riverton receives direct distribution funding from the state of Wyoming each year. These funds are typically used for one-time improvements for the city, for example, capital improvement projects or equipment purchases. Some of the funds are also used to support operations as we look to balance our operating budget. A portion of these funds are also used to support local organizations that benefit the community. These organizations are not under the oversight of the City of Riverton and are not maintained as city departments. This year, as the council worked through its budget process, it approved an allocation of $275,000 towards the support of these community organizations from supplemental funding or direct distribution funding from the state of Wyoming. Included in your packet is a table that denoted the entities that received funding and the amount to which they received funding through the adoption of the fiscal year 24 budget. Shortly after the budget was adopted, and community contracts were awarded by the council, the senior center communicated that it was no longer in need of the funds that it requested, or maybe a better way to put that is the project that it requested funds for received money from another source, and they were no longer in need of the funds from the city of Riverton to complete that specific project. The city council has discussed potential uses of these available funds on several occasions. One specifically was during its business meeting on September 19th, 2023. A decision regarding the allocation of these funds was deferred by the council until it received additional information on alternative projects, programs, or potential recipients. To date, members of the council have discussed using or reallocating the $10,000 in many different ways. Just at the last business meeting of the council, it was discussed that those funds could potentially be used to support city park improvements, as there was a public meeting to discuss ways to improve different recreation opportunities at City Park and also Sunset Park. It was discussed early on that potentially these funds could go to support Eagles Hope transition. They requested $49,000 in their original application to the council, but were awarded $34,000 or 68% of its request. Similarly, the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center has also been in discussion in regard to the use of these potential funds. It was awarded $16,000 of the $50,000 it requested at the time of the budget. Representatives from MMIP, or Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, also have spoken to the council about use of these funds, and that was during a business meeting. And other entities included the Riverton Rescue Mission in partnership with the Wyoming Rescue Mission. The Riverton Rescue Mission and Wyoming Rescue Mission hope to engage the services of a consultant and assess the viability of a support facility for unhoused persons in Riverton, and hope to use these funds to partner with funds received from other entities, the Riverton Peace Mission, and also the Fremont County Commissioners, who recently indicated that they would partner with the city of Riverton should it choose to provide funds towards the Riverton Peace Mission or Wyoming Rescue Mission. Another entity also includes the Riverton Help Center. They've been in contact with city staff and some council members about their needs in the community and the potential use of these monies that were originally allocated for the senior center. The $10,000 that we're discussing is currently budgeted in the Community Services Contract Cost Center of the fiscal year 24 budget. These funds may be redesignated to supplement an already awarded community entity that's budgeted within that cost center. They may also be used to fund another community entity that was not considered during the time of the application and review process. The council may also choose to allocate the funds in a manner that's outside of the community service contract program or that specific cost center within your budget. Since these funds are tied to the direct distribution received from the state of Wyoming, the city council has full discretion in how they are spent. As such, you can use it towards operations, capital improvements, or community amenities as has been presented. As far as the budget impact, the $10,000 in question has already been accounted for in your budget. And if the city council chooses to utilize the funds in a manner different than community service contracts, the funds would need to be transferred to another cost center within the budget and appropriately accounted for via a budget amendment. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And, Your Honor, I apologize. I do know that there are several members in the audience and also attending virtually that may want to address you as you consider this.
Well, since we have, it might be easier to start with our Zoom participant here. If you could, can you hear us here in the council chambers?
Yes, hear you very well, Mr. Mayor.
You as well, but we can hear you.
Good. We'll speak more loudly. Thank you for having us this evening. And I'm Brad Hopkins, Executive Director at Wyoming Rescue Mission here in Casper. with Dave Matthews, who's our Director of Programs. And we're honored to be serving alongside the Riverton Homeless Coalition, and an opportunity I know you folks are looking at for a shelter for unhoused individuals there in Riverton. Last 5 months, we've actively have seen 30 folks here in Casper that we're serving at Wyoming Rescue Mission, which is a great honor. It's why we're here, to serve those unhoused. But bearing in mind we're 120 miles away, and it seems to make a lot of good sense to have a facility there in Riverton as well. We've committed to partnering and facilitating the process, and in speaking with the coalition, advised it would be a best practice on a nonprofit level to do a feasibility study of the community. Here at Wyoming Rescue Mission, we actively have a number of folks that partner with us from Fremont County as financial partners, and would look to build on that group of people for the effort with Riverton Rescue Mission.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate you speaking. Was there anybody else from the Riverton Rescue Mission that wanted to speak regarding this? Yes.
Hello and good evening. I am Tiana Payne. I am representing Riverton Rescue. First, I want to say thank you. It is such a privilege to be here before you all. Thank you for taking the time to serve Riverton. You all do it extraordinarily well. Riverton Rescue was formed by a group of concerned citizens in regards to our unhoused or our homeless population. As a group, we first met and we analyzed all of the programs already here in place in Riverton. Although each of these programs are wonderful, our group found that there is still a large portion of the unhoused that fall between cracks in these programs. As a result, we have reached out to the Wyoming Rescue out of Casper, Wyoming, to develop a relationship and seek their input in possibly partnering with us here in Riverton. They embraced us with open arms, stating they have been wanting to help other communities as they have had great success within Casper. Riverton Rescue, alongside Wyoming Rescue, is trying to raise $25,000 to hire a firm called Davidson and Bakerson to complete a feasibility study. This feasibility study will gather data such as likely donors, the amount of money that we can potentially raise, as well as gathering feedback from the community. How does the community feel about our organization? Are people willing to spend their time, money, effort, and energy into this project? And what are the challenges that our community is sharing with us? Wyoming Rescue has utilized this company, Davidson and Bakerson, with great success. During the pandemic, just a few short years ago, this company helped Wyoming Rescue raise $12 million to finalize their new building that they are in now. As a council, you have a lot of requests to consider tonight. Each of these requests are so deserving. Our group wants the community to know that we are not trying to compete. However, we see a need and we want to help Riverton be the best that it can be. As the leaders of our city council, our group hopes that you will put our city's money towards what you deem is most appropriate for the city of Riverton. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, well, this is it's an interesting situation that we're in here in the council, and I guess to give folks here a little bit of background, we just recently had a presentation that was made to the county commissioners for funding this $25,000 to go towards a feasibility study. And I had the county commissioners reach out and say, well, we're willing to fund that in part, but we would want to do that if it were matched by the city of Riverton. So rather than the county commissioners having to take the full load, they wanted to basically have the city of Riverton contribute. And so that's what kind of, we had this as something we were going to discuss down the road, but that discussion spurred this on in terms of when we wanted to have this discussion. I was actually on the road. I barely made it back here to Riverton at 6:30, so I didn't have a chance to listen to the commissioners' meeting. I don't think that they made any decisions regarding what they were going to do, but I think they were kind of waiting to see what we did. So that's one of the reasons this item is on the agenda. Now, it's my understanding there were other individuals who were interested in receiving part of this contracts for services, money that had been set aside that is currently unobligated. So, I mean, although Riverton Rescue was sort of what spurred the conversation today, if there's other individuals here who were wanting to be able to speak about that and where they think it should go, I'd encourage you to stand up, tell us your name and what you have going on.
My name is Tiffany Cortez. I am the newly appointed Executive Director of the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center, and I want to extend my gratitude for the opportunity to stand before you today, and I appreciate you considering us for the $10,000 in funding available. I am committed to leading the Chamber in a new and positive direction and drawing from my experience managing my own corporation and 2 successful restaurants alongside the responsibilities and challenges of running my own 10-acre farm and 3 children before, during a global pandemic. I'm confident in my ability to navigate and lead the Chamber effectively. Thankfully, I'm not alone in this. I have a hardworking and dedicated board that shares the vision of repairing the Chamber's image and advancing its mission. Together, we're committed to working collaboratively with the city to foster a thriving community. With their support and dedication, we believe we can collectively overcome challenges and steer the Chamber toward a brighter future. I want to express my gratitude for the significant support received from city staff already. Their words of support and dedication to helping me succeed in my position have been invaluable in addressing immediate concerns and laying groundwork for positive change. And I want to acknowledge the financial commitment the city has already made to the Chamber. This existing support, both past and present, demonstrates the city's belief in the Chamber's role in the community and its commitment to fostering a vibrant city. So I stand before you today not to just seek funding, but to request your continued support and confidence in our shared vision. The $10,000 in funding available is critical for addressing the Chamber's immediate needs and ensuring its sustainability. Allocating this funding would enable me to focus on implementing positive change and redirecting membership dues towards more meaningful improvements and events that showcase the businesses and nonprofits in our community. This support would be an investment not just in the Chamber, but a continued commitment to the vision of well-being and prosperity of Riverton. If you have any questions or anything. No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mayor, Council.
Hello.
Hello, Karen Johnson. As you guys know, I'm just here to offer Wyoming Rescue Mission our support. We think that that's a really good thing that they have going on. It certainly addresses a lot of the issues that we spoke about in previous meetings. So we hope that you will consider giving them the funding that they need to complete what they are doing. Look forward to working with them. Hopefully we'll see some change in that area.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think you're up, Nicole.
Am I up?
In case anyone was wondering what some of the back and forth here was, Ms. Wagon had to step out and said, was worried she had missed her opportunity to speak, and so, anyway.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicole Wagon. Happy New Year, 2024. And today is January 2nd of 24. Today is my daughter, Jade Wagon's, anniversary of when we filed her missing. So it's really, my heart's heavy, but I feel it's ironic how this meeting fell on that day. So with that being said, I requested funds for MMIP for flags for the city of Riverton for missing, murdered Indigenous persons. I say persons because we have to include everyone, male, female, all genders, two-spirited. And I've become an advocate in this movement in Wyoming. I attend marches, communities, victims' families, and participate in the growing effort in the equality state to address what has been a long concerning issue. MMIP movement is to keep putting out there about the epidemic that's occurring across our nation. Nobody likes to talk about it. It's a hard conversation. Does it exist? Yes. And I applaud your guys' support because, like I've said before, whatever happens in the city of Riverton bleeds into the reservation. Whatever happens in the reservation does bleed into the city. And it's really hard to get up here time and time again, and I hear people and I listen. I just now came from, I was invited to the state of Arizona to speak on Indigenous and to hear people's stories. My heart breaks from my mother's point of never being able to find their child. I can't even imagine that. Of day in and day out, not knowing where your child is. Are they alive? How can you lay them to rest? And I was listening to these people and trying to encourage them. I'm one person as well. And I go at it and go at it every day, even at the state level, at the tribal level, at the city level, to make that difference for others. To be honest, I know I helped with the Ashanti alert. It was one idea. And to help of what we can make it better to get preventative and pro and to have no more. And I wanted to read real quick what people think we grieve. What we really grieve is the person we lost. The memories of our life before they passed away. The inability to create new memories. The conversations that can no longer happen. Unfulfilled plans for the future. The sense of safety and comfort. The familiar day-to-day activities that people take for granted. Someone to confide in, the emotional closeness, all the milestones, a unique and irreplaceable bond, the advice and wisdom they provided, at the sight of empty chairs at the dinner table, life without them in upcoming events, changes in friends, circles, and our social life. I belong to a different circle. And it's really hard to explain that. I didn't choose MMIP. Some way, somehow it chose me to make a difference for others, to make my daughter's lives count and matter, today I could stand here before you all that I have justice for my daughter, Jocelyn Watt. It's been very hard emotionally, the wounds, and to keep my own family close to me and grounded of the court system. So I can stand here today that I have received justice for Jocelyn in this very room, thanking Detective Smits and pleading to the public for help for any kind of what people knew. People knew. And again, today, I push forward to get justice for my daughter, Jade. And I had a lot of people calling me, congratulating me when about my daughter, Jocelyn Watt. And it's like, hold on, wait a minute. The incident happened in the city of Riverton. The city of Riverton worked with me, and I worked with them, patiently, supporting one another. But it's different when you try to explain to others. Jade's case happened on my reservation. So it's a different jurisdiction, hard with BIA, closed doors, things under the carpet, so to speak. But as the daughter of my dad, Bill Watt, and Jean Watt, to have the perseverance, and maybe I'll be the first to have justice for my daughter of the reservation. And working with the state of supporting the cold cases, and I can go on and go on, it's hard. It's a hard conversation to talk about. But I asked you guys for funds today, and I reached out to Mr. Bryan, and it's been hard with the holidays. I apologize. I've been trying to get a letter to you from the MMIP Wind River group that we started for an estimate as requested for how much the flags and the poles, correct, was in consideration. And I thought, my goodness, and I've been reaching out to others, FFA, excuse me, the American flag, red, white, and blue. And I told Mr. Eggleston today, I said, we shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel, and we should kind of have an idea. So if you can have patience with us of an estimate that we're trying to look at this moment is in the ballpark of $3,000. But I asked Mr. Eggleston to help me research down to the penny of exactly what we can, how much the costs are, because I didn't even think about the actual pole and that cost. But I know you guys all help, and I applaud you guys. You've helped me with marches. You've all came together, Mr. Butterfield. And I thank all of you. I support all of you and the Riverton Police Department and the City of Riverton. And those efforts and to build the bridges of making it better. So that's what I'm here today to request that money go towards that. And we're getting ready for our upcoming march. And hopefully, no more. And to encourage others of, if I can do it, they can do it as well and have their loved ones' voices to be heard. And the MMIP movement is so huge, where people feel despair because they don't have the support of their own reservations, which is sad. But how I'm taught is, you have one stick, it'll break. But when you have a bundle, they're harder to break. And I do have the support across the nation of many adopted sisters and brothers of MMIP. We ride for her, motorcycle ride, SWIC, Mother Nation. I mean, we're constantly supporting one another, helping one another, and wherever we can, be that support. So with that being said, I just wanted to share with you guys how the flag, what we're looking at is to have the MMIP, and what we want to include is the Shoshone flag and the Arapaho flag, because MMIP Wind River is for both tribes. So I just wanted to make that clear. It's just not one. We are unique. We are two tribes and one reservation. So I just wanted to share with you how they're trying to draw it up for the flags to be shown in the city of Riverton. So I thank you guys.
How often would you want to be displaying those? Would it just be around particular events, or what's your thought there?
By many events. We're moving towards, in fact, we're trying to plan a gathering this month to get the input from community members of what they want to do and how they want to do it with the upcoming march. And not just with the march, but we'd like to start planning events every month to keep the momentum going. Not everybody can walk. People like to ride motorcycles. With that being said, or to get creative, but we need people's input, and it's really hard of trying to encourage them to come and talk about their loved one. Say their name. They have a life. They had a story, and it's really hard and traumatic for people. But I try to encourage them to, you're not alone. Maybe I make it look easy, but honestly, it's not. It really isn't.
I appreciate you coming and speaking, Ms. Wagon. I guess keep in communication with Mr. Eggleston, and when we have a little bit of a better idea, and if we can break it down, I don't know, it is something we said we'd consider once we have a little bit more information on it, so I appreciate it.
Because we thought we could go locally, but it sounds and appears that
Your Honor and Counsel, I'm not aware of any local flag makers in the state of Wyoming even. You probably have to shop online. It'd be a special project, so setup costs are going to be significant, at least initially.
so whatever we can, budget for and or be able to have of staggeredly on Main Street and Federal, that would be nice. But it was an eye-opener today, because I just thought we could just support our local community, and I didn't realize that people ordered offline and the cost, and then Mr. Eggleston was like, hold on, wait a minute, Nicole. What about the poles itself? And I'm like, oh, my Lanta, okay. You're right. But, I mean, again, I just feel comfortable and thankful that I'm able to reach out to the city of helping me of getting that together of where that directly would actually go to purchase these flags. So thank you. And I just wanted to show my picture of my daughter Jade, with her being her anniversary today. So let 2024 be, better and safer for all of us here. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wagon. All right.
And one more.
Yes, ma'am.
I wear many hats. And I am on the board of the Peace Missions, Riverton Peace Missions, and we do support the unhoused, which is unfortunate. And I thank all the people here supporting that endeavor as well. The Riverton Peace Missions, we did donate $5,000 to the cause. And I think people don't realize the details of who falls to the cracks of the system. I'll give you an example. When we have children that are in the Department Family Services system and they're in foster homes, once they turn 18, the foster home isn't obligated to keep them. And that was an eye-opener at our Unhoused Summit, where we had families come and share their stories of they had nowhere to go. I mean, those are facts, but nobody even thought about that group. It's just not people choosing to be homeless. And it was ironic to see another story to where a non-native was living in the city of Lander. So unhoused isn't just based on race. It affects everyone. And I was thinking about that, sitting here watching all of you guys talk with that blanket on the wall. What that blanket on the wall represents the medicine wheel. And the yellow, the red, the white, the black. So I applaud the efforts of everybody of making it better. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Payne, could you tell us what is the ask from the Riverton Rescue Mission for the amount? Did I miss that? If you don't mind coming up here real quick.
So right now, we're trying to raise $25,000 in total. That will fund a feasibility study through the Davidson and Bakersons. We currently have about $7,000 due to the generous donation of the Riverton Peace Mission, and then we had a couple other donations come in as well. With the county commissioners and with the city, the county commissioners, from my understanding, said that they would match what the city gave, and from my meetings that I've had, it was $9,000. So if you guys matched $9,000, that would be about $24,000 in total. We have a bingo night coming up, and that should cover the rest of the cost.
Okay. And then I guess when we had talked about this before, I think just, so if anybody was wanting to do like a web search, Dickerson Baker, is that right?
Yeah. Dickerson.
B-A-K-K-E-R, yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
Bakerson.
I had looked it up with some of the discussions with this, and some of what I think what Wyoming Rescue Mission was wanting was a feasibility study, but they're actually, once they kind of get done with the feasibility portion, which some of that is to find out what kind of funding there is available that's in the city, other grants that would be available to look into. Part of what they're looking for is there enough money in the community interest for this to be able to occur? And then the idea is that with help from the Wyoming Rescue Mission, they'd be going forward, partnership with your organization to get a homeless shelter here.
Yes, sir.
And I guess one of the things that's unique about yours is, I guess, as opposed to what we had previously, which was the Good Samaritan Center, which is now operated through Eagles Hope. They, because of their grant funding, et cetera, would not be able to take individuals who'd be intoxicated. You would be able to, however, so long as they're not over
At a
like
risk.
a 0.15. If they're at a medical detox kind of situation, they'd have to go to the hospital or elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And a Come As You Are shelter is the really big point that we would like to make is anybody is welcome to this shelter.
And this feasibility study also, as I understand it, isn't just going to be a feasibility study, but Dickerson Baker, part of what their mission is to assist nonprofits in getting them started. So it's not just like, is this feasible? It's they're going to be going through and assisting, which is part of what they did with the Wyoming Rescue Mission with their new location.
Yep, it's almost like a capital campaign.
Okay.
So they start off as a feasibility study, they determine whether or not a capital campaign is feasible, and then they move on from there. What's really great about a feasibility study is you can spend millions of dollars on a capital campaign and it can flop, or you can do a feasibility study and learn that it's going to flop before you spend millions of dollars. So we're still in the learning process of that. And something else that I love about this feasibility study is that it gains the interest from the community. The community gets buy-in, the community gets to express their concerns, and we get to hear whether or not the community supports us. And I think that's extremely important to hear their voices.
I think that's something that Brad would probably say if he were still on. I don't know what happened.
Well, he's actually on days off, and so I told him that he could politely excuse himself. He works hard through the Christmas season.
Good.
So.
Well, and I think we had a conversation with him where he was saying that if I remember the way he said it better than I'm going to, I know it. But he said, basically the idea is if you want to know what the community wants in an organization, ask them for money. Oh, maybe he is still there. Oh, maybe
Hi,
he could
Brad.
say it himself. Oh, you're muted. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, yes, if you want money, I'm sorry, if when you're raising funds with individual donors, if you want advice, ask for money. But if you ask for advice, you will receive money in funding. So it's just a great wise saying to get buy-in from your stakeholders and include them as a part of the process.
Thanks for coming in on your day off. And then I guess, was I right with that? That part of what this would be this $25,000 would be something that would be going towards basically a retainer fee with Dickerson Baker, and they would be assisting not just with feasibility, but if they do find it's feasible, they'd be going forward with assisting with getting things off their feet for Riverton. Is that correct?
That would be a next step, next option available. Yes. And with that 25,000, I mean, we do have additional costs for printing and mailing, postage. So, but that's the critical piece to get this study rolling.
All right. Well, thanks. I'm glad you were still there. Thanks, Ms.
Brian.
Payne. I don't need to have you stay up here the whole time. All right. I'd entertain any motions regarding the designation of the community service contracts funds that were previously awarded to the Riverton Senior Center.
Your
Or any
Honor.
other discussion?
I'd make a motion to fund the request from Riverton Rescue Mission for $9,000.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Councilwoman Cox, second by Councilwoman Borders. I guess just to clarify, would that include also a funding agreement with MOU, that sort of thing, in terms of
Correct.
that funding? Okay. Same as we do with EDGE. We're not just saying we're going to hand money out.
Your Honor, is that contingent upon the county matching what we give?
Could be. We could have that as a,
I think that'd be a great idea.
we could,
I'll amend it to stay contingent.
Your Honor, if I could too, and maybe I'm out of order here, but I'd like to encourage Nicole to, once she gets all the pricing together, to come back when we do the Community Service Awards, so we can try to fund that. Maybe you'll have time to get everything together by then.
Yes. Excuse me. Sarah Robinson works with me as well, and she just now messaged me that she was trying to get done with the research as well. There's a lot of people helping with that, and she was guesstimating about $3,000 because she wasn't thinking about the polls as well of what Mr. Eggleston stated.
you can
So,
call him Mr. Brian too, that's fine. We call him that too.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you, so thank you. You've helped me in more ways than one.
And Mr. Butterworth, we call him that.
Did I call him that? I'm sorry, Mr.
No.
Butterfield.
I just tease
Did
him
I?
about that. He's been called that a few times.
I didn't say Mr. Butterworth, did I?
You did not.
No.
Shame on you, Mr.
Nicole, you
Mayor.
can call me whatever you like.
You would have corrected me, but my grandkids just love him. But thank you guys all.
Thank you.
And we'll keep at it. And at the same time, I do support the unhoused as well. But we do need help with the flags and calling you guys out with your commitment and support with MMIP. That's why I came that day and this evening.
And I will say, we still do have contracts for services that are open up next year. If that doesn't get handled before the next budget year, which starts, we're looking, I mean, we're already going to be talking about our next budget here shortly. You could also get a formal application in and everything like that, and you could speak with Ms. Harris about that. So,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so we have a motion to fund for $9,000 with the necessary paperwork. I'd say you probably had an idea. You said you'd amend your motion to have it match whatever the county commissioners do. We're just going to sit here across a divide and,
I'll second the amended motion.
okay. So the idea is to fund it $9,000 contingent on the commissioners funding it to that amount as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that clear enough for the minutes?
Thanks, Mia.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Oh,
You got it.
oh, yes, come on up. I do need to still get a nay vote, so don't let me forget.
Go ahead and finish your vote.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
I just wanted to speak to you because you mentioned the Riverton Help Center, and we see the homeless all the time when we're open. And so I would like to abdicate our application for the $10,000 to go to the homeless shelter for the Riverton Peace Mission. So we will apply again, so don't forget us.
Thank you.
And I would love to give all of you a flyer so that you know who we are, because many people do not even know that we're here in Riverton and that we're also the Salvation Army. And we want to thank everybody who contributed to the Red Kettle campaign. We made an amazing amount of money, and it's for helping folks in our community, and we appreciate your help.
All right.
So you'll hear from us again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Look forward to it. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Anybody opposed? All right. That motion passes. I know some people are trickling out. Thank you for sticking around. We don't have that much left, so if If you want to stick around, you can. You can congratulate Paul, if you'd like. He will be signing autographs after the meeting.
Yeah, the most exciting part's still to come, so.
Yes, yes, that's true. All right.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
just quickly, and for staff's clarification, so for the remaining $1,000, currently you'd like to leave that unobligated?
Sounds like, unless there's a motion in regard to that right now. Okay, I guess we still have $1,000 unobligated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, approval of council meeting calendar 2024. Is this what you were saying was the most
That's it,
exciting?
boy, that's the exciting part.
All right, city administrator's report, please, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. This one will be really brief. By municipal ordinance, you establish the dates and times of your business meetings. It basically states that the regular meetings of the city council shall be held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, commencing at 7 p.m. And what's coming before you is a proposed calendar for the upcoming year for your council meetings that has been included in your packet. And we want to make sure that that's just clear to you and also the members of the public that you will be meeting on those dates, that there's a potential for you to hold other meetings on other Tuesdays, whether you want a special meeting or a work session, and that we do not have any conflicting holidays for the proposed business meetings in 2024.
Good, and that was my next question, but as I'm looking at the calendar, I see holidays marked in blue. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the meeting calendar for 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Larson with the cough. Councilwoman Cox with the second. Okay, over there. You're worrying me with those. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. For an executive session tonight?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yippee.
Glad to hear that. All right, if you need a pen for autographs from Mr. Griffin, I've got one up here he can borrow. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, second by Councilwoman Borders. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Voting adjourned at 8:49. Motion passed.